From Giuseppe's studio, it's the Lombardi and JP Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your boy, Scotty P. They, them boys, Lombardi and JP. Well, some may say the Cowboys' luck finally ran out, while others may say they made it through the three-game gauntlet better than any of us expected. And they just got beat by a better team. Either way, what does it mean for the boys the rest of this season? Let's discuss right now on Lombardi and JP. Here we go. All right, gentlemen, good evening. How are we doing today?
Doing good, Scotty. I'm doing better than a few days ago.
Yeah. You had some time to get over the loss.
What loss?
Stop it, dude.
Two of us got this game right.
I know, two of us. I wish you didn't
I
get
don't
it
know if
right.
we were using our head or our heart to make the decision, but anyway.
Yeah, I wish you didn't get it right. But hey, guys, I'm doing okay, by the way. I'm doing all right. Hanging in there.
Nobody asked. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I always get the same treatment. I mean, is football season over? I think so.
For the Cowboys, just about, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for ready for baseball in April.
Listen, I said what loss, and there's an innuendo to why I said what loss, and I sincerely mean that, and I think I want to jump in just by saying one thing because Scotty hit it in his intro to the show this evening, but the Dallas Cowboys didn't lose; they beat themselves. The Detroit Lions did not beat us. The Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to get into some of the specifics as to why I feel the way that I do, but the Dallas Cowboys did not lose. They beat themselves. The Detroit Lions did not beat them.
I totally disagree with you. I think the Lions killed us. They just destroyed us. Our defense couldn't stop them once all game. I don't think they punted once. But before we get into that, Joe, just a quick couple headlines there. Just obviously we're watching for CeeDee Lamb in his concussion protocol. He took a nasty hit in the end zone. He went back for a catch in the end zone and hit his head on the turf. Obviously, he did not look good. Kind of looked like Tua when he got hurt with his concussion. So hopefully we'll keep our eyes on him. Shai said he had a couple of good days afterwards. So we'll see how he does for this weekend coming up against the Vikings. George Pickens is under fire for his lack of hustle, lack of intensity in the Lions game. Richard Sherman kind of called him out on Thursday Night Football. And then obviously talking about Diggs returning this week. I don't know if it's worth it or not with his injuries, with his concussion protocol, with his knee injury from the offseason still recovering. Is it worth even bringing him back at this point that it looks like we only have a 9% chance of making the playoffs? Is it worth bringing him back? So we'll kind of see how that goes. But let's get right back to the Lions game. I mean, I know you're saying, Joe, is that we beat ourselves. Looking at our defense and how Jared Goff in that offense just went up and down the field with Gibbs, Montgomery. St. Brown came back from his high ankle sprain and played pretty well. I mean, we couldn't stop. We watched the game together, Joe. They couldn't stop anything. I said, we need to stop. And we could not get one stop all game.
Well, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this when I say this because I'm gonna tell you who lost this game. All the coaches for the Dallas Cowboys lost this game, but in particular, I know this is a shocker to all Dallas Cowboy fans, but Eberflus literally had his worst game of the season. I'm going to share something with you, and this is why I am going to back up what I just said. The Cowboys coming out of this game, okay, the start of this game, the Cowboys pressured Jared Goff 4 times on his first 6 dropbacks, blitzing him 3 times, and honestly, it worked. Then they pressured him 4 times over the next 29 dropbacks, only blitzing him 5 times out of those 29 dropbacks. On those 29 dropbacks. So what happened there? They ran over us. So what happened was Eberflus, for a short period of time, like I said, 4 times on his first 6 dropbacks, 3 blitzes, changing things up, mixing it up real nice with some man, with some zone, etc. And it was working for that short time. Why he changed the zone to man, the man to zone, why he changed the scheme, I have no clue. But what I'm trying to tell you is that things were working earlier on, and people seem to forget about that because the game got so out of hand, and that's what you're focused on, JP.
Yeah, well, again, so we talked about this to exhaustion. Is that Eberflus's defensive scheme is the Tampa 2, which it doesn't rely on pass rushers. It relies on good coverage and holding the coverage. Reville and Bland, I hear you, Carson, all those guys didn't play well. They were making mistakes left and right. I mean, I think it was, Ravel. I think it was his worst game so far as he started. And I don't know. Like, to me, like, he just looked completely lost out there. I think it's just maybe mental lapses. I don't know what happened.
I'll tell you what happened. Give the kid a break. I'll tell you what happened. Trevon Diggs doesn't take care of his body. Who the hell knows what he was doing at home, how he got his concussion, his knee injury. Yes, that's legit, and he's recovering from his knee injury. This kid, Ravel, should not even be in playing as many snaps as he's getting. The kid is playing like way too many snaps than he deserves to be playing. He's a good player, but we're asking him to do things he shouldn't be doing.
If he was a rookie, if he was,
yes,
this guy's a round one talent, If he got hurt, so he was drafted later on because he had a knee injury. But he's a round one talent from East.
Okay, JP, let me comment on that. Round one,
Sauce Gardner, all those guys, Darrell Reeves, all those guys are number one draft picks. First round draft picks. So again, like, to me, Ravel is a first round talent. Then he obviously should be playing right now. He's fully recovered. Today, you cleared him to play. This is his third game back.
Yeah, that's my point. Thank you for just making my point. Here's what I'm going to say. He is a rookie. Granted, he should be a first-round pick. He was hurt. He's just back. I've said this on previous shows. These guys Ravel is pretty much in spring training, for that matter. He's in mini camp right now. He's in a situation where he's introduced to the NFL. He was hurt. He's back for 3 games. And the problem everybody wants to not look at is this. Trevon Diggs and his behavior with regards to keeping himself healthy and coming back strong is really what's hurting us, because Ravel should be subbed in and rotated in as he can get himself NFL ready. The kid got owned. Yes, he was owned.
A lot of teams that draft a cornerback in a high position always start him the first year. He has the talent and the capability of being a shutdown corner. It's just his third game in the NFL. Obviously, they have a little bit of film on him from 3 games, and then they saw some tendencies there that they took advantage of. So again, I'm not worried about it too much, but comes down to Eberflus in that defense couldn't make a stop. Now, how about the special teams giving the Lions great field position all day long? That Brandon Aubrey had to make a touchdown-saving tackle on a kickoff. That's insane to me. Not just on kickoffs, but also punt returns too. We gave all 3 phases all day long.
You keep on proving what my point is, and that goes back to my opening comment with regards to the Dallas Cowboys didn't lose to the Lions. They lost to themselves. They played so poorly on all 3 phases of this game. It was ridiculous. Even going up into the last drive where we needed to stop them to get the ball back. And special teams, you're right, special teams, I forget who the return, punt return or kick returner was, but ran it to the 50-yard line when it mattered most. So what I'm trying to tell you is these guys gave the game away. These guys gave the game away.
Is that beating ourselves up, or is it the Lions just being dominant on all 3 phases of the game? I think the Lions are being dominant. Listen, the Lions have a lot of injuries on their side too, especially on their defense. Right. And yes, we had some drives where we scored, but we settled for field goals all day long.
I agree. Once again, the offense did not play complementary football. And what you're doing is this. I would love for Lions fans to tune into this and hopefully comment on this. I'm going to make a comment, and I want Lions fans to comment back. My comment is this. If you're a Lions fan, I'd be very worried, because what happened against the Dallas Cowboys, the Lions didn't play. The only guy that played very well for the Lions was Gibbs. He ran all over the world. But once again, credit to the Dallas defense. We allowed him 8 yards before anybody even put a hand on him or touched him. So I don't even know if you can give that much credit to Gibbs. I would be real worried on how the Lions played the Packers the week before, and then how the Dallas Cowboys beat themselves this week. The Detroit Lions are not that good of a team.
Jared Goff threw for 309 yards and a touchdown. Gibbs had 3 touchdowns. Montgomery had a touchdown. St. Brown had 6 catches for 92 yards. Gibbs had 7 catches for 77 yards, right? There's a lot of guys on that offense that played really, really well. What it came down to was the Lions defense made a stand when we got into the red zone, which held us to the 5 field goals from Aubrey. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be again. That's why we lost. We couldn't score. We couldn't punch it in. The Lions, they bend, but they didn't break. They
couldn't score but because of crucial plays. I'll give you one example of this crucial play. How about the crucial play with Jake Ferguson with legal hands to the face when Dak Prescott goes deep to George Pickens in the game? I forget exactly the score. Maybe Scotty can find out for me what the score is at the time. It was so crucial, that play where we would have been first and goal from the 4-yard line going in to score, but we had a dumb penalty of illegal hands to the face. We had neutral zone penalties again. Neutral zone penalties are the worst penalty in football. It's a lack of discipline. It was lack of coaching. I think the Dallas Cowboys got real soft on defense. They didn't even cover. They didn't cut. My boy Thomas, the left tackle, we didn't even get into him. I don't think he even touched his defender. They ran right around him. Dak Prescott had no time to throw the ball. The timing was off with the receivers because Zach Thomas was terrible on the blind side of Dak Prescott.
So Dak had an interception where it hit off of Pickens' hands right into the defender. Then obviously Ferguson was fighting for extra yards, fumbled the ball in a crucial matter. Obviously 3 turnovers. You can't win a game against a good team. Having 3 turnovers to their 0. Obviously, I get it. Goes to your point about us beating ourselves, but we couldn't score.
Hold on, pause. How many? What did we lose by? What was the score that we lose by? I'm going to prove you wrong again. What did we lose by?
40-30. 14 points.
14 points, right?
Yeah.
Points off.
I'm going to tell you that we turned the ball over 3 times, and 2 out of the 3 times literally resulted in 14 points to the Detroit Lions. You take those 2 turnovers away that resulted in 14 points, and guess what? We have a tie game. Still playing like shit.
How many stops did our defense have?
Barely none. Okay.
So
How many stops did they have?
They dominated us.
Come on.
Every field goal we hit was a stop.
It was an ugly game. Here's our fans. By the way, fans, Dak Prescott, 31 for 47 with 376 passing yards. He had 1 touchdown pass, 2 interceptions, as we know. He was sacked 5 times, I think for somewhere around 50 yards. It was obnoxious, potentially.
50 yards.
And his passer rating was 79.7%, which was terrible. CeeDee Lamb, 6 receptions for 121 receiving yards until he in the third quarter, until he had to leave the game with his concussion, which I think is a joke, as he gets up and he's laughing and he's smiling and everything seems to be okay. I still don't understand that, but let me move on. 5 receptions for George Pickens with 37 receiving yards. And Javonte Williams never really got going with 17 carries for 67, just a 67-yard total 67 yards with a rushing touchdown. And Jake Ferguson then was non-existent, only creating more penalties and problems, one of which not his fault, as we know, on the offensive pass interference. But that was the total offensive side for the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't know. I still don't agree with you. I feel like we got dominated. Couldn't make a stop all game. And Jared Goff played smart, didn't turn the ball over, was protected the ball. And having St. Brown say he's out all week, he's not going to play this week. He's not going to play this week. Having 3 offensive linemen saying they're not going to play this week. There are questionable game time decisions, and then they're saying they're possibly going to be out this week. Then all of a sudden, a day before the game, about to hit kickoff, they're like, "Oh, Lions, like everybody's playing today. Everybody's playing today." So obviously, with our people out with this Tyler Guyton who's out, and you said Thomas looked completely lost at left tackle, completely lost, got just destroyed by Hutchinson. Obviously Diggs missed the game, and Pickens just, I feel like in the second half, after we had some pretty bad calls go against us and Detroit just dominating us at this point, I felt like Pickens just gave up. Like he just stopped running his routes. And you see Dak barking at him during the game, going, hey, you got to go back for that ball. You got to put your hands up. You got to, he was going at Pickens on the sidelines all game long about his attitude and his demeanor. And that was something that he came out of Pittsburgh with these question marks. Now, he didn't show any signs of this until this game. I feel like all season long, He's been a great role model as an athlete, playing well. Like you see him 110% into the system. And now this game, for some weird reason, because we got our teeth kicked in by the Detroit Lions, he just gave up.
JP, you've been so hot all year long on the Kansas City Chiefs and telling me that the Chiefs are a legit good
Why
team.
change the subject?
Because I'm going to ask you a question about this, because the debate here, which is a good debate, the debate here is whether or not the Dallas Cowboys beat themselves or truly the Detroit Lions are that good that took it to us. So I guess my question to you is this. Do you think Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jared Goff? You've spoke very highly of Patrick Mahomes and he was going to tear us apart. Is he a better quarterback?
This season, I guess Patrick Mahomes is better than all the quarterbacks in the league.
All right. So what
He's
made
offensive line.
this? Okay. So hear me out when I say this. From 1 week difference, what made you believe that the Dallas Cowboys, or strike that, why do you believe that we were able to contain a guy like Patrick Mahomes and their back and their receivers, and we were so much taken by the Lions because the Lions were so much better? Do you think the Lions are so much better than the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you
Right now,
think they
yes.
are?
Right
You
now,
really
yes.
do?
Right now,
You think the
100%.
Lions are that much better?
100%.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
The way they're playing this year, I agree.
Sorry, Scotty. The Chiefs have no offensive line. They have an old running back, Kareem Hunt, with an injured Pacheco behind him. So right now, the Lions have way more weapons with Jameson Williams, St. Brown, Gibbs, Montgomery, Goff, all those guys. Lamparta's hurt, but they have no tight end. Fine. And Kelsey's better than whoever they have on the Lions side. But the Lions right now are a way better team than the Kansas City Chiefs are.
I don't know about way better.
Both teams are hurt.
But
Both
I
teams are
agree.
hurt.
They're consistent, right? The Chiefs are consistently worse than the Lions. The Lions are inconsistent, but they have the potential and they play at least more consistently well
What's
than
the X factor on these teams, though? What are the X factors on this team with all these injuries? The X factor is great coaching. Dan Campbell's a great coach, and Andy Reid's a great coach. Now, Andy Reid's way better than Dan Campbell because obviously his accolades and his resume speaks for itself. But Dan Campbell has his guys always ready and playing hard for him in Detroit. And Andy Reid, with a team that's banged up, can compete in games. So the Chiefs, they lost again. I don't see them making the playoffs this year. And this would be the first time Mahomes has missed the playoffs in his entire career. Let that sink in. He's been in the league forever, and it's his first time not making the playoffs. So do I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL? Hands down. If you had to pick any other quarterback in the league, you take Mahomes first.
My point is this: if the Dallas Cowboys can come out, if the Dallas Cowboys can come out and they can play a game that we saw them play on Thanksgiving and contain a guy like Patrick Mahomes, do you mean to tell me that the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff's team is that much better?
Patrick Mahomes had no offensive linemen playing for him the week that we played them. He had 3 guys out on the offensive line. Goff got all his guys back for the Cowboys game, right? He has a good offensive line when they're all there. Same with Patrick Mahomes. The reason why Mahomes, any quarterback under pressure, is not going to be great. Tom Brady wasn't great. Dan Marino wasn't great.
I said this to you with the Chiefs, and you didn't seem to want to believe it at that time when I said, when you put pressure on Mahomes, we saw it in the playoffs, we see what happens, etc. And all I heard was, well, it's Patrick Mahomes, man. It's Patrick Mahomes. Rewind the film, because what I'm trying to point out is this. The Dallas Cowboys, when their defense is playing and beating themselves, this is the 5th time this year that they have allowed 400 plus yards. 400 plus yards. I don't care if we played the Lions on Thursday night or we play the Vikings on next Sunday night. If we give up 400 plus yards on defense, it doesn't matter who we play, we lose. If you give up 3 turnovers resulting in 14 points, we lose. The reason why I sincerely believe that the Cowboys beat themselves are for these reasons. Not because if you told me that there were no turnovers, if you told me that we didn't have as many penalties, if you told me X, Y, and Z, other things that we played a better, cleaner game and we lost, I would say, okay, I believe you. But the mistakes that we made throughout this game and whatever Flus did to change the scheme from the first 6 plays to wherever he was thinking is absolutely ludicrous and destroyed our game plan.
All right, so JP, last quick little rebuttal here, and then we got to move on.
The Lions were dominant because besides the one turnover off Pickens' hands, when they ripped the ball out of Ferguson, they didn't stop at the whistle. They went there and punched the ball out. The other interception toward the end of the game was just an awful throw that he should never threw the ball. But other than that, I just feel like the Lions are dominant. They've been a great team the last 3 years under Campbell, and they're still one of the best teams in the NFC. And I think anybody who plays them in the playoffs is going to have a tough time with them. But they have to make the playoffs first because they're still on the outside looking in with all these teams with good records. So we'll see what happens.
All right, and a couple quick points. I got the some stats here, your question, Lombardi. But before we get there, you look at that Chiefs game. My point is if Turpin is not at the right spot at the right time, when Pickens fumbles that ball, they probably lose that game, and we're having a different conversation because the Chiefs win and the Cowboys didn't get lucky. They fumbled the ball and recovered it because there's 3 Chiefs standing around ready to jump on it. Here comes Turpin, just on the right spot at the right time. But also Mahomes, you got it. We mentioned it. He's not playing that well. It's not just the Chiefs, but Mahomes is not playing that well this year either. If you watch the Texans Sunday night game, the throws, the interception to Kelce on the sideline was behind him. The whole reason why there was an interception is because the ball was behind Kelce, and that was like his third pass behind him.
He had his hands in his chest.
His hands
in the chest. I don't care if it hits your hands as an NFL receiver, and
because he had to turn around to get the ball. So what? It hit him off the chest and hands as he was going one way.
He's an NFL tight end who's a 3-time Super Bowl champion who made that catch 99% of the time per Matt Holmes, his own quote. So to me, is that he should have caught the ball.
Mahomes should have put the ball out in front of him and not behind him. And there was about 3 other passes that were not on target.
Yeah, I know we're talking about this. He's running for his life. I watched that game, running for his life. He had no protection whatsoever. He has no protection all year. They'll be back next year. They're gonna invest in the offensive line, make some moves. I would not, say the Chiefs are not gonna be competitive next year. I would say they're gonna be back in their normal ways.
All right. And the Ferguson penalty, Lombardi, came at the end, towards the end of the second quarter, right before halftime. They were down 17-6, and it would seem like a 45-yard pass completion to Pickens down on the Detroit about 5-yard line, right inside the 10-yard line. And then all of a sudden the flag was way back at the line of scrimmage, and yet Ferguson got called for the hands to the face penalty that negated. And there was also a PI, I believe, as part of that call. There was 2 flags, one defensive PI, and then also the hands to the face.
Yeah, and we score there. My point is that we score there.
Field goal.
Well, I mean, you're at the 4-yard line with I'm talking about if there was no hands to the face, a stupid penalty.
We score, yeah.
We score there a touchdown, and it's a different game. You got to remember too. I think it was the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, we were only down by 3 points. We played so bad. Nobody wants to remember this. And this is why, once again, and I'm not going to go back on my off the deep end right now, but I will tell you that just focus on this. The Cowboys played so bad, and we still had a chance in the fourth quarter to beat this team because we were only down 3 points. Like, that's nuts. If the Detroit Lions were so good and murdered us, that score is a little deceiving by the 14-point win. I'm telling you.
Down 3 momentarily. So we would catch up. Down 3, then they would run right down the and score again. So we're down by 3, but it was like literally they had the ball back and they scored again. It was never really that close. It looked close, but it was never that close. We couldn't make a stop on defense.
JP, 3 point for a minute or two, it doesn't matter. There was a 3-point deficit in the fourth quarter.
You couldn't make a stop. That was the problem.
And I
just said that.
And I will put the cap on this and say I'm firmly 1 foot in each of your rooms there on the fence. I think the Cowboys beat themselves up with the penalties and the field goals. And yeah, you can't give up 400 yards, but I think Detroit earned that 400 yards. I don't blame the defense so much as the Detroit offense. And the Detroit defense actually played much better. The pressure's on quarterback. Their defense played better than our defense, but I'm not going to blame the Cowboys defense necessarily
Dominated.
for like
Scotty,
beating themselves. They got beat, is my point.
Scotty, let me ask you this. Then what do you say about the Cowboys offense for 400 plus yards? We had 400 plus yards on offense as well.
And you settled for how many? 5 field goals.
5 field goals.
You couldn't put it in the end zone. You got in the red zone only 3 times. 1 out of 3 red zone.
Once again, that's beating ourselves. Like I said, focus what I'm saying. We couldn't deliver into the end zone. What I'm trying to say is that we didn't have a problem moving the ball 400 plus yards on offense.
Hutchinson was hugging Dak the whole game. The whole game.
And we still had 400 plus yards in offense, and we still managed to beat ourselves.
With 5
All right,
field goals.
great conversation, guys. We are quickly running out of time here. Wow, who knew the entire 30 minutes would be talking about the how they lost the game and why they lost the game? If they beat themselves, or did the Lions beat them? All right, well, let me take a quick moment. Let me take a quick moment to thank our listeners and give a shout out to our sponsors because I may never get another chance here. The Lombardi and JP Talk Sports podcast is powered by Lead Creative Media, ready to make your brand unforgettable. At Lead Creative Media LLC, we create scroll-stopping, stunning photography, high-impact video, and bold social media that gets results. Lead Creative Media, where your story gets seen. And for those of you listening and coming back every week, thank you very much. Commenting down below, join the conversation. We thank you. Please tune into the Lombardi and JP Talk Sports podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Every week during the season, we're here for you with all your Cowboys news, information, and opinions. All right, so before we get to our picks, any comments on the upcoming Vikings game, next 2 home games at AT&T Stadium, and then ending the season with 2 games on the road in division?
So let me go first. Obviously, we talk about this every week. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but we've had a lot of average or below average quarterbacks make them look like Pro Bowlers against our defense. Like Jacoby Brissett, all these other guys we played this year have really taken off against the Cowboys defense. The thing with J.J. McCarthy is he's been struggling this year. Now, he looked pretty good last week against the Commanders, which he dominated that game. He looked really, really good. But that Commanders defense, full of injuries. Commanders team is just in disarray. So I don't know what we can take from that and put it to this week. But I feel like if we can't get to J.J. McCarthy, he will eat us up. He has Justin Jefferson. He has Addison. He has some decent guys, Aaron Jones. So again, they have decent weapons on that Minnesota offense. The question mark is, can we play good offense against that defense that's been pretty good? It's pretty good this year. It hasn't been bad. They dominated last week. They've been dominating other games. They won 5 games, 5-8 so far this year. So this is not a team that we can just look past. It's definitely a must win. And Joe, I know you're going to be there, and I'm looking forward to hearing your stories. And you're taking another person for the first time down in Dallas.
My brother.
Our boy Jeff.
Yeah,
so I know shout out to Jeff. We love you, buddy. I hope you have a great time down there. But tell us what you think. Like, what do we have to do to beat this Minnesota team?
And here it comes, and I think we agree somewhat, and we disagree, and that's what's so great about the show, I think. But I'm going to tell you this. So we, mark my words, we're going to take it to the Minnesota Vikings for a couple of reasons. Number one, we are a team that plays extremely well in controlled temperatures. It's going to be perfect temperature. The air conditioner will be on. It will be perfect. It will be Sunday night. It will be Sunday night where there is no sun in anybody's eyes, so everybody can make catches without blaming the sun. But in reality is this: the Dallas Cowboys, regardless of their horrific defense, are going to outshoot the Minnesota Vikings at home. They are just that powerful. They went on
with or without CD. Does it matter? Doesn't matter. I love it. JP
was the guy for a minute, then Phil and I took over for Tolbert. But yeah, all I'm saying is that Jacoby Brissett beat us with that Cardinals team. All I'm saying is that Jacoby Brissett, you could never look past a quarterback. J.J. McCarthy could get hot. This guy won a college national championship. He's mobile with his legs. You can't look past the kid. I think he's been so inconsistent and awful all year, but he has some flashes this year that just show that why he was a high first-round draft pick for the Vikings.
All right. Well, I am sorry to say we do not have time really to go through picks. We will make, of course, our Cowboys pick, and I'm sad to say this is one of the few times I had the New England Patriots tied for the NFL best record, 11-2 New England Patriots. We're on the agenda. We're on the rundown to talk about that game, Bills at New England. But we'll have to just skip that and get right to.
I got the Pats.
Okay, good,
All right.
good. Yeah,
I'll keep
across the board, Pats, Lombardi. Wow. Okay, all right, we got it in. Pats across the board.
On the bandwagon, he's a Pat fan now, just like me. I guess it's a new favorite team.
All right, Sunday night football game. Our 6-1 Cowboys against the 5-8 Minnesota Vikings. Still made it on a Sunday night lineup here. So, who you got, JP? Why don't you go first?
It's been a while, but I'm taking the Cowboys over the Vikings. I think we should come out and just stomp them for how we played last week.
Think it's going to be a blowout?
I hope so, for Joe's sake.
Lombardi? In a shootout, though, you said, I believe. All right. I also am going with the Cowboys this weekend. I am going to say it's going to be a shootout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a shootout, very high-scoring game. I don't know what the line is, but go for the over, not the under on this one. All right, well, that's the time that we have for today's show. Next week, hopefully after a Cowboys win, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the remaining 3 games and the likelihood of whether they can make the playoffs. This, I know every season is the NFL. It's crazy. It's up and down. Any given Sunday, that terminology, that phrase comes because of the NFL, but this year it just seems like it's even beyond what we typically see. It's really crazy. So last 5 weeks or 4 weeks here should be exciting to see who gets in and who doesn't in the postseason. Until then, keep coming back to the Lombardi and JP Talk Sports podcast for all your Cowboys news and information and opinions. That's it for us this week. See you next week. Peace out.